Okay, so Barry the bass player here. I've never done one of these videos, but I thought I'd show you my mods for the Primaris Inceptor. So everybody loves these models, but nobody can figure out how to base them in a way that's robust enough to keep them on the battlefield without snapping the plastic bases. I think the plastic base is great for if you're going to display the model, but it just doesn't seem to be robust enough to work. So GW did a nice job of making them in a way that they don't move around and so forth. But these snap all the time, and I came up with a quick little fix for this to put them on the battlefield and make sure that they're going to make it home in one piece. So what I did was just add a magnet to the bottom. So of course one magnet on the back of the Inceptor, and then I used a 440 screw countersunk in the bottom of the base, and then another magnet on here. So there's a little nut, a little 440 nut here that I used to glue the other magnet to. You could alternately try to use a ball bearing maybe, but it didn't seem to be really stable. So the changing of the angle of the magnet on the bottom of the piece will change the angle where he's going to sit. So you could change that any way you want, but I mean this isn't going anywhere. I mean this is solid. So for probably about 60 cents per mod. Alright, so here are my materials. Of course, you could repurpose the base and cut the old base off. I just grabbed a new one. But here's, it's just a 440 countersunk screw. Okay, there's a nut that I'm gluing one of the magnets to, and then the other magnet that goes into the back of the Inceptor, and that's really it. If you grab your little pin vise, you just want to grab the back hole. Alright, and then we're just going to drill straight through. Nothing to it. The key here, you want to make sure that you countersink this, so you want to take a little hobby knife or whatever method you want to use and get around in there and just take some material off. You don't want that screw to be sticking out the bottom of the base, and having the countersunk screw makes this really easy, so you just want to have a little angle on it. So, all right. This is no big deal. I'm just going to take the screw, and this is soft plastic, so not a big deal. You put it right through the bottom here. Make sure it sits flush. Okay, and I put a little bit of glue on here just to make sure that it doesn't come out. Your favorite goofy glue, whatever you like to use. Just put a little dab in here, and then you can twist it right back into place. Okay. This one drilled through a little bit harder than I wanted to, but usually you can thread it right through there. Okay, so now the important part. Alright, you want to make sure that your magnets are in the right direction. So here's our little nut and our magnets, and I'm just going to roll this onto the top here and thread it on just a couple of threads. Now I mark my magnets with a marker just to make sure I don't get them in the wrong direction. So this top one here is going to go into the back of the model, and I'm just marking it with red. Okay, so you want to look at the back of your model and decide what angle you kind of want him to be at. You could see the other two I did here, so they're pretty much set. One's a little bit harsher angle and one's a little less. What I wanted to avoid is drilling into the back of this model. And I mean, mine are just primed, they're not painted yet, so if yours are painted it's even more of an issue. But you might want to just grab a little needle file, just take a little material off right in the small of his back here, just to make sure you have something, a good surface to glue to. And of course there's 100 different ways to grab that magnet and put it on there. But what I'm going to do is take a little dot of crazy glue, okay, just on the top of my first magnet. Okay, and then I'm going to use the other magnet, even though this probably isn't the smartest way to do this. Okay, and I'm going to place it kind of where I want it. And even if that other magnet comes off, this gives you an opportunity to kind of see the angle that he's going to sit at. Okay. So you could use a toothpick or some other device to hold that magnet in place while you pull away the metal, which was really swift of me to do. But you want to make sure you don't glue that other magnet onto the back. So just pull this away, and of course the magnet will come out with it. Okay, so here you can see we've got the magnet installed on the intercessor. Okay, and you can always paint that if you want. Leave it silver. I mean, my figure isn't painted yet anyway, but we just have one last step, and that's to take the threaded rod we installed here, or the countersunk screw, and we want to add the nut on the top. I thread a nut on here because it holds the magnet better, and it doesn't really seem to work out that well if you just put the magnet on top of the threaded rod. So I think the nut holds it better. Now I'm going to make sure that we go ahead and mark this, because what we don't want is to have, you know, some bases one polarity and some others. So if we can get them all the same polarity, I'm just marking the top so I don't forget which end is up on this. And we're going to take our favorite, in this case I'm using crazy glue or goofy glue, whatever you want to call it, and we're just going to put one dab up here. We want to make sure that the rod is not above the nut, though. We don't want it sticking up above, because otherwise the magnet won't hold really well. So we're just going to put one dab on here. Make sure that we have the magnet in the right direction here. And just try to center it on the nut. Okay, and let that set for a minute. You could go ahead and paint these threaded rods if you want, and, you know, save your original bases for display if you like, or you can repurpose them and take the plastic part off, whatever works best for you. The nice thing here though is we could go ahead and use any of the bases that I've made for any of our figures if we keep them all in the same polarity, and that way you don't have to worry about which ones you bring with you if you got 3 or 6 or 12 in your army. So that's about all I wanted to show you today, and I appreciate you looking. Hope this helps you out. I gotta say, this is based on an idea that I used for my other favorite game, which is X-Wing. They did a lot of this kind of stuff for some of the little ships when those pegs would break off. So, and here you go. Here's your Hellblaster squad, or I should say your, now I can't remember what they call them. These are the plasma incinerators. The Hellblasters are, of course, the infantry troops. But okay, thanks for watching, and Barry the Bass Player. We'll talk to you next time. Thank you.